All right, so welcome on in. For those of you in the dark, today is draft day. It is a high holiday in my circle. Hence my 49ers shirt here. I hope that you're all Niners fans out there and enjoying what's going on. And if you're not, well, then someday you'll come around. Nobody's perfect. That's okay. No big deal. Going over what we're going to need today, we got a couple different items for the workout. So one of the things is a heavy bag of some sort or a heavy product. Sarah's got hers through there. If you don't have something super heavy, that's okay. We can make do with something that's like more moderate of a weight. But if you do have an option, maybe load up a backpack. I got a number of books into here. You could maybe put like a couple water bottles and something like this to weigh it down as well. Also, you'll have an option to use a can at one point today too. So if you'd like a can, it can just kind of make the movement a little bit more challenging. And then also a water bottle weight or something around this size is going to be really good for our first movement that we're going to do as a part of the Tabata series today. So rules stay the same as we finish up our 2 weeks here. We're going to be doing our 5x5 circuits. We got 2 of those, and then we go Tabatas and do our 2010s, and we do that 3 full times. Remember at the end of each of those circuits that we have that little 30-second cardio blast going on as well. So we've gone over everything that we need. One thing that I did leave out was, of course, kind of your stick, your broom, your towel, any of that. We're going to be using that in our first 2 movements of the circuit today beyond our warm-ups as well. Beyond that, it's business per usual. So if you can do that barefoot thing, do it. Thinking about what muscles we're using throughout the movements is called proprioception. We're going to try to activate that today. I'm going to try to verbally send that out there, and you're going to try to physically feel that and put that to action. After that, if you got any injuries, of course, you're just being careful with what you're doing. If you ever feel a sharp or a bright pain, you're ignoring what's going on. No, not ignoring what's going on. If you feel a sharp or bright pain, pay attention to it and make sure that you can work your way around it. Or if you can't work your way around it, work into the new move or substitute a different move for yourself. Keep yourself safe by paying attention to what's going on with the body. That also goes with our check-in as well. So check in with yourself, notice how you're feeling, whether there's an injury, whether your energy is up or down today. Pay attention to that as you come into the workout. And then lastly, if you have a few tunes that you would like to put on that make your workout a little bit extra exciting, if you got that Hillary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, any of that stuff, just crank it on up. Let's get moving. We'll get our Spice Girls going and we'll call this thing official. Britney. Oh yeah, Sarah's a big Britney fan. For those of you who want a little insight into what makes her, Britney fan for sure. All right, let's get to it. I'll quit chatting. We'll get up, we'll grab our pole, and we'll go through our basic warm-ups here. So basic warm-ups, we're going to have the feet shoulder-width apart. We're going to bring the hands all the way up and over, and then bring them back in front. 6 reps of this, and if you can't go all the way back, no big deal. Go to just where you can, so maybe that's just a little bit behind the head. You can come back in front. Also, as you take your hands wider in that stance, you may be able to get further back with the arms. All right, and then from here, keeping the arms up, we're going to reach over to one side and pull down with the opposite arm. We'll come back up top to center, and then switch it over. Okay, so give me 6 of these where you allow that top arm to kind of be pulled by the bottom arm, opening that side body a little extra. We'll go last 2. All right, and final 1. Okay, next up are our rotations. So we're gonna make sure we've got some space behind us, wherever that is. So I'm gonna step a little forward and I'm gonna extend that bar back, straightening an arm. I'm gonna rotate over to the opposite side and just switch it. We're picking up your opposite heel as we do this, so that helps rotation open a little bit. And I want you to find and feel your hips and your rotators, your abdominal muscles that are turning you side to side. Think about it, find it, feel it. Get that proprioception going here. What's the middle of the body doing to turn your body here? I'm going to go last 2. All right, last 1. All right, and then we're going to do windmills from here, which is going to have one arm going up and overhead, the other wrapping around in one direction. We'll go 3 times in one direction, and then we'll switch it over to the opposite side. Now, if this needs to be up here and just a little bit smaller, that is totally cool. Wherever your shoulders allow you to get into these movements. You finish up those 3, and then we're going to take that bar or that towel behind us. We're going to have the elbows drop so you can feel your back muscles working a little bit. And then you might have noticed we are taking a wide stance with our feet, much wider than the shoulders. We're going to sit back and down to one side. We're going to push up, get tall, and then switch it on over. We got 6 of these, so go a little slow. Find balance and find power as you're pushing up. Last 2. All right. So from here, last warm-up movement, standing, brings us overhead. We get into our squats. Take a look down below you. Feet should be underneath your shoulders. Toes should be pointed forward. And then as we sit back and down, we feel the weight on the heels. We push up through that center of the foot to heel press. Get in the back of the legs as our active, strong muscles. Good. Breathe in, coming down. Breathe out, standing up. And give me one more. Last one. All right, cool. So let's take these and just put them aside. We're going to come down to the floor. We're going to be on our side. We're going to get into our fetal position and do a little movement with our arm opening. So clasp your hands together in front of you. Stack your knees as well as your ankles. And then open that top arm straight behind you and bring the hands back together. This is the center of your back rotating. So thoracic spine is where we're aiming to mobilize here. And you might notice we're not wasting a lot of time. We're kind of keeping a good pace going side to side with this. Switch it after those 6 reps. Flip it around. Same position, same thing, and continue on with 6 good openings. If you'd like to put some breathe into this, you can breathe in as you open and breathe out as you close. And we got final one more here. All right, next up is a seated position. We got our feet pretty far out in front of us. We're gonna have the knees drop over to one side. We're gonna rotate and reach straight behind us with the hands. We'll come back up nice and tall. We'll flip it around to the opposite side and get that nice reach. So think about this. This is the outside of the hips, a lot of little glutes. We got a glute medius, a minimus. We even got a little maximus in there. Stretching and opening. Push those areas down to the floor to make that stretch a little bigger and better. One more, last one. All right. And then last up, before we get into our little cardio burst, we get into our kneeling position. We're going to have your right foot in front, and it's going to be a little further in front than that knee. Your left hand is going to go behind your head. We're going to lean forward and pull the left elbow back. Then you're going to extend your right leg and reach your elbow to the knee. Back into it, and then press back, breathe out. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press back. And remember, like moderate level of stretch in what we're doing. We don't want to be pushing this and getting super tight through that hamstring. Trying to gently open things up here. All right, we'll switch. Your right knee will go down, your left foot a little further out in front than that knee. Right hand behind you, let's lean into it, pulling that elbow back, and extend back with that leg. Do that little elbow to knee reach. Inhale here, exhale, fold. Inhale into it, exhale back, and give me one more, last one. Inhale, and back. All right, that's pretty darn good, everybody. We're gonna do some cross mountain climbers for 30 seconds from here. Now, your more manageable option is you can be standing with your hands against the wall if you'd like that. If you're doing that, you're still bringing that knee across the body as you do those lifts. Otherwise, we're down on the floor doing it. We got 30 seconds. That starts in 3, 2, and 1. Let's make it happen. We're bringing that knee across to that opposite elbow. And we're holding the body in a good, strong plank position. Now, if you feel good, you feel free to pick up your pace, get like a little jump jog into there. Whatever kind of fires you up and gets you ready for this movement. We got 10 seconds. Last few, everybody. Last few. Finished up in 3, 2, and 1. That is take a breather time. You are officially warm. Congratulations, everybody. Little virtual high five out there for you. Let's go over the circuits with you. Our first circuit is going to have us standing per usual. And weight-wise, we're going to be using our heavy weight in the third exercise. And we're going to be using our pull in our first and our second exercise. So let's go over this first. Exercise number 1. Just like our warm-ups, we got the hands over the shoulders. We're going to do some squats. So we're going to sit back and down into a squat. Then when we come up from the squat, you're going to bring one knee up and pull the bar down to about the knee. You'll step back into that squat position and go to the next side. Now, this will be 10 total reps, right? If you want to just stay on one side and do 5, you're welcome to it, but I think it's a little bit easier if you kind of just mishmash into one to the other. So 10 total reps of that. If you need to make it a little bit easier, just think that your elbows can be a little bit more bent and your squat doesn't need to go so low throughout there. So that's our first movement. Our second movement continues to help us use the pole, or have us use the pole, and it kind of goes into a warrior 3 position. So those of you familiar with yoga, it's a single leg deadlift. You're going to lift the leg behind you, and you're going to reach the arms overhead, and then we're going to come back up nice and tall. So repeat that. Try to make a good straight line with the body, and then smooth as you come back up. Try to work on, remember, as that back leg lifts, not allowing the hip to rotate open, but trying to keep those hips parallel. Very nicely done. If you need to make that a little bit easier, just go down a quarter of the way. Just go to here, and you can kind of practice getting in and out of that. Our final movement is using a heavier weight. This one goes out to our fitness stud who we love to follow, Ben Bruno. Shout out to Ben Bruno. If you follow him on Instagram, chances are you enjoy a few good laughs along the way. What we're doing is a split stance right here. So I'll give you a side position. Both knees are going to be bent. I do have my split stance, and I'm going to be holding this heavy weight right in front of the forward leg. Now, I'm going to try to keep my back straight, and I'm going to lift this weight, bending my left elbow, reaching it to about 90 degrees to the left, and then very slowly coming back down. So lifting up, and then very slowly coming back down. Practice it with me out there if you're not doing it already. This is really focused on getting your obliques, and specifically the oblique on that forward leg, to be firing a lot through the movement. Once that's all done, we do 5 minutes of all that, then we bring it down to the floor, we do those cross mountain climbers. I hope that is abundantly clear for everybody. It's a good one, isn't it? Shout out to Ben. Go Ben. Badass. All right, everybody. So I'm going to get this started, which means 10 seconds. You're going to start with that pull overhead. It is going to be a squat, and then we're going to bring the knee up and pull the bar down. In 3, 2, 1. Let's get into it. We got 5 on each, but we go 10 total reps. Perfect. So find a good pace with what you're doing. Once you're done with that, then you're going to be moving into that warrior 3 or that single leg deadlift. 5 on each side for that one as well. So she's into it. She's going to kick the leg back, work on the balance. What's key is I want good balance into this. Per always. Don't I always tell you guys this? Slow it down, control it, balance it. Same things keep coming up for a reason. I want you doing them. Awesome. So what's great about this is that bottom point, she's got her core really turned on because she's extended out quite a bit. And her back muscles, the whole posterior chain of her body is super active in controlling the strength there. She switches it over. If you needed to put a micro bend into this knee in front, you're totally welcome to do that. If that feels better for your balance, put a little bend into that knee in front. And Sarah's showing you that she's human. That's cool, no worries. You lose a little balance. That's why we're practicing this, because we have struggles with our balance. We do movements that challenges it, we start getting better through it. Once we're done with that, it's heavy weight. We're gonna get into that split stance, so let me open it up for you all here. I'm gonna have that back knee bent. I'm gonna open, bending that top arm, and then slowly coming back in front of that leg. 5 on each, 5 on each. With the weight of that forward leg, let's remember heel is where we want to feel that body's weight. We don't want it too much into the toes. We want to take that knee out of the equation in front. She goes into the opposite side. Once again, slow works you so much harder on this one. Slow makes it worth your time. If you can slow it down, you can really get a lot more out of this movement. Awesome. She's on it. I love that she's really taking the cue here. I want you all to do the same. Remember, this is obliques. This is the sides of the core that we want to be the most active and the most stable through here. She goes back to the top. It's the squat with the knee lift and pulling the arms down. It's going to be 10 total. And each one of those, she raises up high, feeling the back shoulders through the squat. When she pulls down, she's going to wake up a little bit of those lats, a little bit of chest in that pull down. Try to integrate more of the upper body. stand up. Gets into the warrior 3. Excellent. Huge balance movement. What can we do best to improve balance? It's tighten the belly, it's focus the eyes. Focus the eyes on one point. Keep your belly tight, brace it. Things should improve. Awesome. So just making it through those 5 with that steady, slow motion. Got about a minute 30 remaining here, folks. About a minute 30 remaining. So we're doing fine. If we can make it through 2 full rounds, I'm going to be stoked. If you can make it through 3, even better. That's okay. It's okay. Once again, this is a movement that she's struggling with a little bit today. That's okay. No big deal. Everybody's here to practice, and that is it. Although she's on camera for all of you, so that is taking it up another notch. All right, once that's done, it's back to that rotation. Remember, split stance, back knee is bent, and we're thinking about the sides of the abs as we're rotating out and back to the front. There we go. So Sarah, bend your back knee a little bit extra. Bingo. Does that feel okay? Okay, you let me know if it doesn't. And if for any reason that back knee bending didn't feel good on her, I would just cue her to go back to the straight leg, right? So the straight leg is kind of a little bit of that more manageable approach to things, keep you a little bit safer, take a little bit of the extremity of that lunge position out of it. We've got 20 seconds, folks, 20 seconds. Let's do our best to finish out where we can, to try to get to the back end of whatever movement we're doing. You'll have a few seconds in between before we come down to the floor and do that cross mountain climber from here. So clockwise, we're done in 3, 2, and 1. Once again, we got 20 seconds before we're going to bring it down to the floor, or you've got that more manageable option where you can put the hands onto the wall and you can give me those knee lifts across the body from kind of that angled standing position. All right, folks, let's get ready for it. We begin in 3, 2, 1. Cross knee to cross elbow, and let's take nice control with that upper body right here. In control, pressing the hands into the floor, finding more out of what we're doing. Yeah, so we're getting to about that halfway point, 15 seconds here. If you're feeling good, you can pump that pace. I'm going to encourage you to do so. And steady breathing. Finished in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and rest, everybody. Circuit number 1 in the books. Circuit number 2 coming soon to you. All right, let me do a quick stop and a reset here. Let Sarah get a quick sip of water. You all get some water out there as well. Of course, as we're demoing these movements, you're welcome to kind of jump in and practice them with us. In fact, I think that's the best way that you can. But if you need that as rest time, all good as well. We've got 2 new movements in this, and they're our first 2 movements. So let's go over them a little bit. And once again, feel free to practice with us, especially this first one here. So our first movement, we're going to be getting up into kind of, let's start here, child's pose position. I think this is easiest to start. So what we're going to cue you to do is to lift your knees off the floor, and then as you come forward, to try and roll like a cat through your spine forward. Once you're there, you'll notice Sarah's dropping her hips down and she's pulling her shoulders back, and then we're going to bend the knees and sit right back into it. So your normal movement, or even your power movement, whatever you want to call it, is going to be keeping the knees off the floor the entire time, kind of rounding through that back, hips sink, top of the body lifts, and then pressing back. Now, your more manageable option, some of you might be looking at that and going, absolutely not, Sean, not going to happen. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it, and we're just going to break it down a little bit piece by piece. So we're going to start on that child's pose here. We will try to practice lifting the knees and coming up to a plank. Then I want you to go back down to the knees, lower the body to the floor, lift the top half of the body, and then push back to here. I will go over that as we're getting into that circuit once we're on time. So pay attention to that. We're going to break it down piece by piece as that more manageable option for you. Second movement is a cross crunch. So we're going to get into our figure 4 position, which we do for our stretches. We're going to bring the foot up off the floor, and then your opposite elbow goes behind your hand. We're just going to meet opposite elbow to opposite knee, and gently come all the way back down. Give me full flat at the bottom each time. Bring it up, and then exhale and slowly lower back down. So that should give you a nice opportunity to keep your low back grounded the whole time. I want you to think about keeping that low back pressure as we do that to get more out of what we're doing. And then our final movement, this is where we can use a can today. It's a familiar movement, but we're trying to add just a little bit of intensity if you're feeling up for it. So we're gonna get into that side position. We're gonna have the bottom arm out in front. The top arm is gonna come up and overhead. We're gonna meet the hand with both of the feet and slowly come back down. Now some options on this one. You could go single leg as a more manageable approach, or you could bend your knees a lot and you could practice just kind of going in and out of that. Once again, 5 reps on each side. That'll wrap us up, and then we'll have those 30 seconds of skaters once our total 5 minutes are done. That sound clear? Okay, let's learn this first movement right off the bat. Like I said, I will pay extra attention of giving you those more manageable options on this one. But we're gonna start facing the floor. We're gonna be coming up into a plank position, but let's get started first in child's pose here. So it's a rolling of the spine for the regular movement. For the more manageable option, in 2, in 1. For that more manageable option, we're gonna practice just coming up and lifting to a plank. Then we're gonna bend the knees, bring them to the floor, lower all the way down. Top of the body's gonna lift, and then you're gonna press your butt back towards your heels, child's pose. Do that again, lifting up, holding it, lower the knees, lower the body, then lift the top half of the body, and then press back butt to heels. 5 of those total. Once you're done with 5, then you're moving on to being on your back and doing that cross crunch. So that cross crunch puts you into that figure 4 position. Your other foot is lifted up into the air. We like to call this tabletop position with that shin. Hand behind your elbow, or hand behind your head, opposite elbow to opposite knee. And think flat to the floor every time you come back down. You are all the way down. You want to work on your breathing. You are breathing out as you're lifting up. Breathing out as you're lifting up. 5 reps on each side. And then we turn to the side, grab that can for that added challenge today. And Sarah's got that nice lift. At the bottom, watch her. She extends that arm out. She does a really, really great job of getting full range of motion into the movement. Once again, that more challenging movement as we start out. Now, your regular motion would be having you here, lifting the knees and rolling through that spine as you come forward, then sinking the hips, pulling the shoulder blades behind you, and keeping the knees off the floor, pushing your butt straight back to those heels, and practicing it all over again. 5 total reps. It's a shoulder blaster, but then you got some breathers on the shoulders after that. Press it back. She's on it. She's on it. So she's just trying to find form into what she's doing. She's slowing it down. She's trying to find that kind of rolling through the back. And that's kind of a funky way to move the body. Changes up a little bit of our dynamic of what we feel and find in the movement. Once she's done with that, she'll go back to being on her back, that figure 4 position, and that opposite elbow crunching to the opposite knee.
Weird.
What's that?
I feel like that's weird.
It looks lurid.
Weird.
So you'll notice Sarah, when she's doing this, her other arm is extended out. So I like that. It's giving her good grounding right there. And that's going to force her other side of the body to be active into it too. So the more that we can integrate into our movements, the more muscles as a part of what we're doing, the more we're getting out of what we're doing. All right, so we got just a touch over 2 minutes. Touch over 2 minutes. Keep working through your cycles. Keep working through your circuits here. And then once we're done with this, it's going to be standing skaters for 30 seconds. Flips it. She's going to get full extension at the bottom. And then smooth going back down with that full extension. If you're starting to burn out, take a small breather. Always okay to take a small breather when you're burning out. And then come back with a little bit more energy when you're ready to roll. Here we go. She's under the spotlight. Does she roll the spine? She rolls it very nicely.
I don't know what to do from here.
Now from here, just push back, exactly. So you bend the knees and you go butt to heels. There you go, good. So very yoga-esque, right? We've got kind of that low cobra movement right here. We've got our child's pose into there. We've got that big rolling of the spine. Seems very reminiscent of yoga movements to me. Folks, you got 1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining here. There we go. And as she goes down, it's all the way down in that crunch. Huge difference between stopping halfway and going all the way to full extension back down. All right, full extension again. So basically just really working on full range of motion into our floor movements here, getting as much of the core active and as much of the core stretching as possible. Lifts up, she breathes out. Lift up, breathe out. 15 seconds, 15 seconds. Man, I'm getting tired watching her work out over here. It is a tough day today, tough day. Okay, time's about up. Finished up time-wise in 3, 2, 1. If you got a few remaining reps, finish those out. The rest of us are going to be standing. We've got skaters coming up. All right, let's make sure we got some lateral space to do some jumping. Feet together as we start out, and then remember as we step into it, that opposite foot going behind you. Beginning in 2, 1, a little bit of a hop. If you'd like to put that opposite hand reach into it, I encourage you to do so. Now, more manageable approach. We're here, you're stepping, and then you're here and reversing it. So you can eliminate those hops. Keep yourself nice and safe and still find those hips moving through. Last few, everybody, last few. Good. Finished up in 3, 2, and 1. That is take a breather. That is circuits in the bag. We got some Tabata to go over next, but you all help yourselves to a water. Give yourself that little high five on the back of the shoulder there. You're doing well. You're doing fantastic today. You should be proud of yourself. For those of you who are just sitting at home watching us, you know, that's cool too. We appreciate the enthusiasm that you show by tuning in and watching us all sweat.
Tom Pulley.
Tom Pulley? Oh, Sarah's calling Dad out. Uh-oh. All right, Tom, you heard her. All right, so here's the deal. Our normal Tabata is going to be 20 seconds on, 10 seconds of rest. It's 8 movements total. Now what we do is we go 3 movements that are done on each side, and then we have 2 that are just 20 seconds on. So we'll go over the first 2 movements, which will be on each side first. The first of those is going to be doing a little cardio work from a split stance. So the knee is bent in front, the back leg is straight, and the top half of the body is a little bit leaned in. So you'll notice kind of a straight line between our ears, shoulders, hips, and all the way down to the ankles. We're going to bring our hands out. We're going to bring the knee up quickly and breathe out when we bring that knee up. So this is your move. Now you can be standing upright and make it a little bit more manageable from here if you needed that as an option. So we do 20 seconds on one side, we take a 10-second break, and then we do 20 seconds on the opposite side. After that, we're going to get into a lunge hold. Now, this is where using kind of that moderate, medium-sized weight is best. If you don't have it, you can use a can. You could also do body weight on this. We're going to get into the bottom of a lunge. So I'm going to hold the weight here. I'm going to lower down. We're going to make sure that the knee is stacked on the ankle. And we're going to wrap that water bottle around the head in one direction, holding the bottom of the lunge and rotating around in one direction. Okay, after that 20 seconds, 10 seconds of rest, switch it up, next side. Remember, more manageable approach, we can kind of straighten that back leg and we can still work on feeling the core and engaging the shoulders through rotation. And of course, you switch the sides around the head as you also do that with the legs. So those are the first 4 total movements, once again, done on each side. After that, we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to go onto our back. We're going to do a dead bug. So this is going to have our hands up above the shoulders, the knees up above the hips. We're going to extend an opposite hand and leg away from the body. Then we're going to bring it right back into that center point and switch it over. Okay? So what's key on this one is trying to keep that low back pressure. If you can keep that low back pushing down, you can get a lot more out of what we're doing. Speaking of low back, our second movement continues with the focus onto there. We're going to keep both feet up into the air, but now our hands are going to come down to the floor below us. We're going to actively push that low back down. We're going to maintain the push, bring one heel to the floor, and then switch over to the next heel, lifting up. Okay, once we're done with 20 seconds of those, we finish up in our bird dog position. So we're going to flip ourselves around. We're going to go hands and knees position. It's an opposite hand and foot lift on one side, and then we're going to meet hand to knee down below and extend back up. So we get a little crunch, and we just stay on one side. One side for 20 seconds. Then once you're done with that 10-second rest in between, do the opposite, and that rounds out Tabata circuit for you. I'll call it out as we go through here. I'll also continue to make sure that I'm telling you about those more manageable options as we go, and maybe even a power option or two as we get into it. That sound good? Very good. Go Niners. Let's make this thing happen. Tabata time. It is cardio first. And we've got 10 seconds to get rolling. So give me a split stance as you begin here. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Top of the body tilted in. And we get into those arms out and pulling that knee down. In 2, in 1. Go ahead and kind of just wrap it out. So you're pushing pace to get the cardio aspect out of the movement. She's got a lot of weight on that forward heel right here. And she's keeping the knee stacked on top of that heel in front. In 3, 2, 1. We rest for 10. By we, I mean she. Birds, very good, very good. Okay, next side, set up. Begin in 3, 2, 1. She's using those arms to pull down. So she's engaging some lats and some chest into that pull down. She's pushing pace. She's getting cardio out of what she's doing now. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. We're going to switch the leg in front. You're going to get into the bottom lunge next. We're going to wrap around the head. You can be a little higher if you need it. In 3, 2, and 1. One direction around the head, and you stay in that bottom lunge point. Now, take a quick peek down at your knee in front. Keep it on top of the foot, and also keep it a little bit out to the side. A little bit out to the side. In 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Next side is coming up. Lower back down into that lunge. In 3, 2, 1. Opposite way around the head. Nice. All right, good. And you can kind of keep that water bottle a little higher if that feels awkward with the shoulders. If you struggle with that, you kind of just do little circles up top from a higher point with those arms. The lower you can stay into that lunge, the harder you're working. In 3, 2, and 1. Come down to the floor, go onto your back. Your dead bug position is next. Hands up in front of you, knees up in front of you, low back pressing. In 2, 1. Opposite hand and foot extend, come back in. Good breathing. As you reach out, breathe in. As you exhale, bring it back together. As you reach out, breathe in. Everything comes back together, breathe out. In 2, in 1. Next up, she's going to put her hands to the sides of her. She's going to keep those feet lifted. She's still pressing like hell with that low back to the floor. In 3, 2, 1. It's single leg dropping down while she's maintaining as much of a downward push on that low back into the floor, the imprint of that low back into the floor that she can. All right, very nice, very nice. Last few. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's turn you around, bird dog position, one side only, opposite hand and foot, and then we're gonna meet hand to knee underneath. In 2, 1, lift and crunch. As you lift up, breathe in, lift up, breathe in, exhale, bring it together. Inhale, exhale. Find that timing, put the breath to it. Last few. In 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds, then we switch it. Then we'll give you a minute break. You're doing phenomenal, everybody. Work on good posterior chain. In 2, 1, let's go. There we go, good. So she's got that nice feeling of the back of her body during that lift. She's feeling her butt, she's feeling her shoulders. From the back of the hand to the back of that heel is working. finished up in 3, 2, and 1. That is break time. That is number 1 of 3.
It's a thigh burner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I always think of this one as a big thigh burner. I think we start you off with a good burn. And try to keep the burn going through there. It's not an endorsement for Bernie though.
For what?
Bernie.
Oh.
I love Bernie. Seems like a nice guy. I think he's genuinely trying to do good things. All right, shall we get to it? Round 2. We'll give you that 10-second. All right, it's official. You got 10 seconds. Split stance. Forward leg out in front. We're gonna go quick knees and pull down the arms in 2, in 1. Let's go. She's gonna find power in that forward leg. And every time she brings that knee up, breathe out, out, out. More manageable approach. You're a little higher up in your stance. Rocking it out in 2, in 1. Break it. 10 seconds. Get ready for the next side. Next side begins in 3, 2, 1. Crank it through it. Use those arms, right? Those arms are there. The more that we can think about using more muscles, the more we're getting out of this. Pull down with those arms. Feel those lats as you pull down with those arms. In 3, 2, 1. Next up, grab a moderate weight. We're going to get to the bottom lunge and we're going to wrap around the head. Get set in 3, 2, 1. Stay low. Wrap around in one direction. Now let's think about your core as we're here, right? You can tighten that belly. You can push into that forward leg and feel strength and power into that forward leg. Find it, feel it. Use more, be more. In 3, 2, 1. That's good. 10 seconds. Next side coming up. Beginning in 3, 2, 1. Bottom of that lunge. Hold it, tighten the belly, and make sure you've gone the opposite direction around the head. Opposite direction around the head. That's okay, you're good, you're good. And allow that back knee to bend, right? If you need it as a little bit more manageable, you're up. In 3, 2, 1. That's good. We put the weight down. We go to the floor on our back. We rock out dead bugs here. All right, low back pressure in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And let's talk, we talk oftentimes about full range of motion, especially when it comes to our core movements. This is one of those. Get big extension of both the arm and the leg to get full range of motion through this. In 3, 2, 1. Next up, hands go down. Feet stay up in the air. We keep that pressure of the low back. Push like hell. In 3, 2, 1. Now, if you happen to notice on this one, your neck is getting a little too tense, you could lift the chin or lift the head slightly off the floor. But you want to keep those eyes up on the ceiling if you need to loosen up that neck at all. Maximum push, get the most out of it. In 2, in 1, turn yourself around, bird dog position. We'll have that crunch at the bottom. Opposite hand touching opposite knee. Extend out, breathe in. 2, 1. Breathe out as you crunch. Good. So she's got the control factor. She's got extension. She's getting more out of what she's doing by really selling it. In 3, 2, 1. Hand down. Next side. Set it up. Breathe in, lift up. In 2, 1. Crunch it down. Breathe out. Great. So extension with the hand, and then lift with that hand a little bit too. It's the back of the body we're targeting. Find and feel all the muscles in the back working. In 3, 2, 1. Time out. 2 out of 3 done. You got 1 remaining. We're doing phenomenal, folks. Let's keep it up. Woo! I'm excited about the draft. All right, so get yourself that water, treat yourself to some water for that quick moment. Got one more round remaining. You know what you're doing by this point, so give me energy if you got it in you now. Okay, we know what we're doing. Let's hit this last one with a little enthusiasm and knock it out of the park. 10 seconds is on our clock. Excuse me. Now 10 seconds is on our clock. Split stance, 1 foot in front. Back leg is straight and arms are working. In 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. Find that knee. Keep it on top of that foot in front for safety. There we go. She's got that pace. She's got that push. Hopefully you do at home as well. Finished up in 3, 2, 1. She rests for 10. Big inhale in. Slow exhale out. Bring yourself back in. In 3, 2, 1. Knock it out. Give me powerful arms pulling down here. Powerful arms here, folks. Okay, reset it and go again. 10 seconds. Good. Keep that breathing pattern. Breathing out. Breathing out. Finished up in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, next up is lunge with the weight around the head. Grab that weight. Get into your lunge stance. Go to the bottom. In 2, 1. All the way down. Perfect. Finding strength in the forward leg. Forward leg is our power right here. Trying to keep that forward knee from, don't ever let that knee go in. Forward knee, we want it to be just a little bit to the outside. In 3, 2, 1. Stand up, breathe, recover. Second side coming up. Reset. Get low. In 2, 1. To the bottom. And then smooth as you're going around. Hopefully you've reversed the side around the head here. Tighten the abs. Feel the leg in front. Feel the heel in front. Get low. Finished up in 3, 2, 1. Put that weight down. Go onto the floor on your back. Give it some dead bugs. You got this, girl. Low back press. Arms up in 2, in 1. Let's go. Full extension, right? I want range of motion right here. You get range of motion by reaching to as far out as you can. And breathing in, breathing out, crunching in. In 3, 2, 1. Hands go down by your sides. Legs stay up into the air. Low back, pushing, pushing, pushing. Single leg drop in 3, 2, 1. Slow down, slow up. And now if you can push down with the hands, you can wake up a little bit more shoulder. But actively recruiting that core by pushing the low back down, imprinting the low back down. In 3, 2, 1. We turn around, we go to the floor, we finish with that bird dog and that crunch below. 20 seconds on each of our sides. Breathe in, lift up. In 2, 1. Breathe out, crunch in. Last few, focused in, making them good. In 3, 2, 1. Reset. Next one coming up. Last one coming up for your day. Let's find the breathing. Breathe in and lift. In 2, 1. Let's go. There we go. So stability and that lift each time at the top. Getting the back of that body working at the top with each of these. Nicely done. Folks, we finish up in 3, in 2, and 1. Woo! Hopefully you're feeling good. Hopefully that gave you a nice little opportunity to exercise and get some sweat out of you. Hopefully you're going to be tuning into the draft coming up here. If not, I'll give you your play-by-play breakdown coming up here shortly as we stretch. So, you know what to do. I'm going to have you all just kind of join us down on the floor. I'm going to have you reach your arms overhead, and we'll do a little bit of talking while we're starting to get into that belly breathing. So let's get to where we want to be. Reach the arms, get that full range of motion, that full reach of motion here. Breathe in, feel the belly rise. As you breathe out, long, full exhale. Nice big inhale. Nice long exhale. All right, let's go ahead and get into our figure four. So you're gonna bring your left knee forward, left foot forward, and you're gonna bring your right foot on top. Left hand's gonna go behind your left leg. You're gonna push that knee out just a little bit, pushing it away from you to open up the stretch along the side of that right hip. Now if you can flex the toe here, this is gonna keep your knee in a much happier, much safer position. Let's continue to kick back into that belly breathing again, where we're slowing things down and we're filling the body with that good stuff all around us. Nice big inhale in. Nice long exhale out. We're gonna kind of hug that right knee in towards our armpit on the right next, and your left leg has straightened. It's flat on the floor. Your left hand is gonna take over, kind of holding that knee. We're gonna go a nice big inhale in. Then as we exhale, we're gonna pull it over to the left side. Now that right arm is gonna reach out to the right side. I conveniently have a nice rump to put my hand onto there. She works out, what can I say? All right, belly breath in. Nice long exhale out. As you do that belly breath in, fill your body up, but as you breathe out, let's allow the neck to kind of release and relax. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring that right leg back down to the floor. And we're gonna actually keep it a little bit, and we'll get into our figure four stretch here. So, right hand behind your right leg, and your left knee is pushing away from your body via your left hand. So just remembering that it is incredibly important to do things that make you happy, especially during these times, and giving yourself an opportunity to slow down from kind of the hustle and bustle of what work and life can be. Finding those joyous moments. Let's find a big inhale in and a long exhale out. We're going to hug that knee in next. Your right hand's going to take over. Let's do one more big inhale in. As we exhale, we're going to pull that knee over to the right side. Left arm's going to do some reaching out. Maybe take the eyes and peer over to that left side. Now, to keep you safe onto this one, we want to make sure that whichever side you're looking towards, the back of that shoulder stays down on the floor. So this knee can kind of go where it can as long as this shoulder stays in contact with the floor. Nice big inhale in. Nice long exhale out. We'll bring the knee back up. We'll come up into our butterfly stretch, or you could also stay on your back, as Sarah will show you. She also does that great job of kind of putting the hand on the belly, and I feel like that's a phenomenal way to always remind yourself belly breathing is a deal. So what am I talking about? What little pleasures of life am I talking about? Well, that would be football season for me, which we're not entirely sure will be happening at this point in time, but I have faith. I'm a 49ers faithful. And for those of you who are unaware, the 49ers have 2 draft picks today in the first round of the NFL draft. Nice big inhale in. And the bliss of a wide receiver as you breathe out. All right, let's go ahead and extend your left leg out. We're going to bring your right foot into the thigh. If you need to sit up for it, you do that. Your left hand's going to go behind you. Your right hand's going to reach overhead. We're going to kick back into that breathing, but now I want you to focus that breathing into the low back area. So think about as you breathe in, there's energy going into that low back. And as the air goes in there, it's giving a little extra stretch to those muscles as well. Nice big inhale in. And the sweet exhale of more secondary help for the 49ers on defense. Let's go ahead and gently bring ourselves back up. We'll switch it over. Right leg out, left foot in. And then that right hand behind you and that left hand kind of reaching and over. So if anyone is a 49ers fan out there, I'd encourage you to jump on the line right now and say, go Niners. If you like other teams besides the Niners, I'm going to encourage you to just stay quiet at this point in time. Go ahead and nice big inhale in. And nice long exhale out. Okay, let's get into our kneeling stretch so we can get a little opportunity to stretch out those quads. Here we are with the left knee down, and we're gonna bring that left hand up. Now, if you squeeze your butt on that left side, things are really gonna open up even better, so do that. You think about these muscles in a seated position, they are shortened all the time. So this is a really, really good opportunity, and probably one of the few day-to-day opportunities that you have to really stretch this area out when it's constantly tight. Take this as a good opportunity, find your breath in, and then as you exhale, we're gonna slowly bring the hand down. We're gonna switch the knees, right knee down, left foot out in front. All right, right hand raises. We're gonna squeeze your butt on that right side. Let's kick into a little bit more of that nice, slow, steady breathing. All right, as you squeeze, you can even lean a little forward to increase things. Let's get that big inhale in, and then that gentle exhale out. That right hand comes to the floor. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves to a standing position next. From here, we'll finish up doing a little bit of our upper body stuff. We're gonna start with our right hand reaching overhead, our left hand grabbing that wrist and pulling over to the left side. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit, and I want you to work on that breathing. Surprise, surprise. Nice big inhale, and open the ribs through that bigger breath. Exhale, continue to keep. One more time, good breath in. And long exhale out. We'll come back up to center. We'll switch the hands and reverse it. Opposite side. Once again, let's find a good breath in, a challenging breath in. That long exhale out. One more time, good breath in. That long exhale out and come back up. We're gonna bring the hands behind us. We're gonna finish out with a little bit of neck rolling and a little bit of chest stretching. So I want you here, but I want you to clasp those hands together. I want you to push them down towards the floor. Bringing the chin up and give me some wraparounds of the head around the shoulders in one direction. 3 good times, kind of gently, kind of slowly. Once 3 are done, just reverse. And finish out that final head roll. We're gonna come back up, we're gonna bring the eyes up, we're gonna breathe in. We're gonna peel the shoulders back behind you. And as you breathe out, gently kind of release the hands. Shake it out. Everybody, happy draft day.
Go Niners.
Go Niners. Whoop, whoop. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. And keep up the good work. Go drink a bunch of water, eat some vegetables, and root for the Niners to draft a wide receiver.